the old character you've been playing until now is the very thing, the very part of you that will prevent you from becoming who you're meant to be if you don't let go of it. What is happening in this very time right now is that we just can't keep up holding false story of ourselves anymore, because it's exhausting, because you just got tired of it. You got tired of living a small life. You got tired of living a limited life. You got tired of living a life where you're living for someone else, but it's not fulfilling. Most probably you've noticed you got tired of living a life where you're bombarded by constant negative news of something that maybe doesn't even matter, of something that's maybe not even real. And so many people are reporting right now like feeling completely empty, completely drained out, not just tired, but having no meaning anymore, having no, like nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing feels, important anymore. You know how we call this process? We call it the ego death. When we finally wake up from that idea where we've been, following something that society made important, like having a lot of things, consuming a lot of stuff, having a lot of money, and like nothing wrong with any of that, nothing wrong. But if you think that's the meaning of life, then at some point you will reach it and you will still feel empty, because it was never the meaning of life. So I see in younger generations right now, they don't even need to reach it. They already feel like something is missing here. So many people are like, something is missing. And I feel like nothing makes sense. This reality and having this physical experience, like it doesn't make sense. That's where we wake up, because these questions are very important. Like, why am I here? What is going on? Why everything feels so off? Those are the most important questions, because when everything feels off, it's how ego thinks. Like nothing stimulates me anymore. Nothing sparks me anymore. That's a good thing, because finally we realize we're not built for this world how it is right now, for constant, constant stimulation on social media, constant new negative news, constantly doing something for someone else all the time and being just there when others need us, and all of that. We're not built for that. If you look at how ancient tribes lived, there were communities. So it was never all weight on one person. There were communities. They were living in tribes. They were living in nature. They were living under the sun. They've been living one with nature, one with cycles of nature. And therefore they understood the power of unity, the power of oneness. You've never supposed to live a life where everything is up on you, because it's not. You're part of the whole. We are all part of the whole. But the world is not made on this idea. It's made on individual empowerment. Like, I can do everything. And that's why people get exhausted. So I will take you through symptoms. Why so many people feel so lost and so drained out, and what to do. Because you're not alone if you're feeling like that. And there's actually nothing wrong with you, and you don't need to fix yourself. You actually need to realize that you are completely, perfectly fine. But maybe the lifestyle you've been living is not the most sustainable for the life you're meant to live. That's why each awakening requires a breakdown, because breakdown is already a part of the breakthrough. So if you're feeling tired for no reason, you're going through it right now. Even if you have a good rest, even if you're living a very healthy lifestyle, and you can't find like why I'm feeling this way, or a sense that nothing is working, like plans fall apart, things feel delayed or blocked all the time, it's a sign that life is rearranging things for you. And it's very important to notice, okay, where I'm feeling completely lack of joy, lack of aliveness, because it shows to you that maybe how you're living is not aligned with you anymore. Maybe it was. Maybe in the past you've been completely passionate about this kind of a life, but right now you may feel something new is calling you. Maybe a bit more slower pace, maybe a bit more depth, maybe something completely new. And you know, every time we talk about evolution of the character, we talk about the point where a person goes from external desires to internal inspiration, where you don't draw inspiration from the world outside of you anymore, but you ask yourself what I truly want to do, how I truly want to live. And many times when we recognize everything we've been doing so far is falling apart and everything is like nothing works anymore, it's a good time to listen. It's a good time to be with your feelings and listen what your inner self is saying and trust it. This is the hardest part because it's not logical. So you're waking up to trust that you, and healing here truly is relaxing into knowing that you're safe. This is the greatest healing you will do in your nervous system, relaxing into knowing that you're safe. Another symptom that maybe many of you are feeling is a sense of lack of motivation, like maybe crying unexpectedly, irritation or deep sadness without clear cause. So how many of you feel that? Because you see, as we are moving through life, we are accumulating memories. But if we have a lot of dark experiences, we are accumulating negative memories. At some point, to a person can happen that they have only negative memories, no positive ones, no positive experiences, only negative ones. So they can't perceive life as it is, they only perceive it as it was. And if it was very dark, those people have a lot of stuff to let go of. And when we find ourselves, and many of us may find ourselves, because it's not just you, it's also genetic, it's also, you know, epigenetics says we are carrying within our DNA memories for 16 generations. So it's not just you, it's generational trauma, it's generational memories. So not to put too much weights on you, but just to remind you that sometimes when you may say, oh, my life was actually very nice and I've been growing up in very beautiful time, I still have so much darkness and it doesn't make sense. It actually does. And that's why it's so beautiful when you find loving community, when you find, or when you listen to yourself and you start creating more positive memories as well. And when you start truly thinking deeply, like what passions you've been putting aside just because you needed to survive in a world that never fulfilled you. Because maybe that passion is the answer to creating more positive memories. And then as you investigate it and you maybe create some strategies with it, you can create a whole new life with it and meet new people and create new experiences and see where it takes you. So this can be a powerful thing. Like when I've started following what I'm truly passionate about, I've started meeting incredible new relationships. I've started creating new business opportunities for me. I've started growing, I've started expressing myself, I've started making videos, and then from one passion, so many things opened. So that's where I've started creating very positive memories for myself. And actually this journey from there to here was the greatest healing for me. So it was not sitting in the darkness all the time, it was also doing a lot of work that I'm passionate about. Then another thing that so many people are going through is overthinking right now. Overthinking but no clarity, like just thinking, but not being clear. The more they try to figure it out, the more foggier it gets. How many of you are feeling that? Because something that I'm noticing in this time, and it's just this year, is that I just don't figure things out through thinking. I actually figure things out when I let go. When I say, well, at the right time, the right answer will find me. And I stop trying to figure it out because I just can't. I can't figure it out. I can just overthink because there's, so much of information. We kind of almost already know so much. So it's not information anymore. We live in the age of information, so it's not the information that's the problem. It's actually the lack of time when we are not exposed to information, when we are not exposed to external impulses, because that's where brain can find harmony, and that's where we find, quietness, and in quietness we find clarity. So it's just something I figured out. Like one day, some time ago, I wanted to resolve something. I've been, something I've been worried about and I wanted to resolve, and I've been watching one video and I've been reading a book, and I just felt more full of stuff, and there was less clarity, and I had no pace with it. So what I did, I did 1 hour of meditation, and then in that meditation I received everything I needed. And that's when I've noticed, well, it was not information, it was quietness. I needed quietness. So it's just this time right now. There's so much noises, so many noises. It's a loud world right now. On the internet, in real life, it's, a lot is happening. So the greatest luxury of this time is truly quietness. Taking time for yourself. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You don't need to know what to do. Just sit with your thoughts and set a timer, and you will be amazed what happens. You will see how much is going on here. And your brain loves when you stop exposing yourself to constant impulses. And then people feel disconnection from others or from their purpose, feeling like they don't fit anywhere anymore. How many of you feel that? Feeling like you don't fit anywhere anymore. Because even what seemed like maybe even spiritual communities feel very weird sometimes, right? Because things get exposed and people are not who they, who maybe you thought that they are, and so on. And things become weird, and suddenly, once again, there's no place you would feel safe. So it's good if you create a space where you can feel safe. And you can start with you, and then stretch it onto your family, right? And then stretch it onto your neighborhood, and then stretch it onto your country, and so on and so on. It's a good practice. It's an ideal, but it's hard to accomplish it like that. But you can start with you. Create a space at your home where you're feeling safe. And return to that space every time you need to feel safe. So then when you get into the world, you are radiating in that beautiful pace you've created, you've learned to generate. That's a beautiful thing you can offer to the world right now. So what I've noticed in my life at this point is that I love so much to go meeting strangers. Like I go into the city, I talk with strangers. I go into a store and I talk with workers there, and this kind of things. Like never before I felt such a deep need to do that. I've noticed I just love to radiate, peace and kindness and love. And, sometimes just A few days ago happened, a homeless guy, very young guy, homeless, came to me asking if I have some money. And before I gave him money, I asked him, like, where are you coming from? Where are you from? And he shared his story, very sad story. And I asked him, what are your goals for the future? And he started, passionately sharing, I love to draw. I would love to create tattoos, and I would love to have my own studio and things like that. And suddenly there was not just this homeless guy, there was a guy with a dream. And it was touching, because I saw myself in him, even though I was never on that kind of a, I was never in that kind of a position, but I also went through a journey where I needed to make a huge change. And I said to him, hey, start reading books, find free information, find people who can help you. Don't just walk around and feel lost, but be eager to know. Be eager to know. Start asking if someone can give you free books, if someone can give you work to do. Just make sure you crave more than what you have, and you will never stay where you are. And he was inspired, and I felt good. Like, I felt I was able to give something. So maybe if you feel disconnected, start giving more. Start connecting with people more. Because sometimes when people look unapproachable, they're just mentally going through something. But deep inside, everyone loves a connection. Everyone loves when someone shows them care and love. So maybe this can help you in this time so much, because I just love to see that right now, and I love to do that, and I found it very valuable in my life. Then old patterns are resurfacing, even once they thought they had healed. So people thought, oh, I healed that, but it's still coming up. You see, healing is a very complex process. We are very complex beings. And even though we think we've healed something, there's still more layers to it. That's why it's so good to keep returning to places that triggered you, or places that caused you some painful memories. And to hold space there, to see how much you've grown, to see that you don't need to be perfect to make progress, and you don't need to be perfectly healed to do something that's or to go somewhere where you still feel maybe a bit imprisoned by, or to talk with someone you still feel triggered by. You don't need to be perfectly healed. Actually, healing happens when we have these tough conversations, when we go to places we avoid, when we do things we've been afraid to do. So just something to think about. And many people feel tension and heaviness in their bodies right now, especially in chest, heart, and gut. So why is that? Well, our bodies are very symbolic. They speak to us. When it comes to our chest, it comes to closed-heartedness. And each energy center, each chakra has actually front and back center. And sometimes they're not in balance. Sometimes they're close. Sometimes there's not enough energy coming into the main center. And in the area in our bodies where there's not enough energy coming in or out, there will always be some kind of pressure or tension. And the reason why so many people feel tension in their chest and in their gut is because they are hiding in or giving too much. They're holding in, hiding in, or giving too much. That's what we need to balance. So you need to be honest with yourself and notice where you're giving too much or where you're not sharing what you're going through. Where could you ask for help or just open up a little by little? You will become more safe in doing that. And gut then is, suppressing all of that. Or giving too much and then being angry and sad and depressed because you don't receive it back, and then you suppress that anger. And then all that suppressed energy is in your gut, right? This is something which really need to pay attention to, because your body will always give you a feeling of what is going on, but we need to learn how to decode it. So I hope this can help. And many people are doubting themselves right now. Maybe you think you've messed up. Maybe you think you're going backward. Maybe you think so many people you've seen on social media are way ahead of you. Maybe you think you will never succeed. You see, in the past, people had way less of this kind of experiences because they were not exposed to so much of content and information. They read a book and then they put in the work for the next 5 to 10 years and they've succeeded, those who were truly dedicated. Now you start to work on something. You go on Instagram, you see a successful young guy in a Ferrari, and you see how that guy was doing something else and you want to do that too. And I see so many people are just jumping from one thing to another because they think that what worked for them will work for them too. And yes, of course it can work if you do what they did, but they were not jumping from one thing to another. They were hidden, working on that thing, whatever they were doing, not exposing themselves, not distracting themselves. They were building it, and then they've started sharing it on social media. Now you saw them and you think it happened overnight. Many times people have this kind of misconceptions around everything right now. So whatever it is, even in spiritual evolution, it's the same. You think somebody is more evolved or whatever. People feel more disconnected from their inner voice than ever before. But at the same time, there's more and more people who are just disconnecting from social media, disconnecting from the internet, and finding back the real connection with themselves. And you can be one of them. You don't need to erase everything. You don't need to move away from everything. You can stay on AttractPassion. But make sure that you don't compare your journey with someone else's journey, that you follow your calling, that you follow your pull, and you do what you know, what you find out in quietness that you need to do, to stay in touch with your guidance and to be intentional with your journey. And there's a quiet sense that something big is changing. I've noticed so many people are feeling that, like just something huge is changing, but they can't yet explain it. So how many of you feel that? How many of you feel something huge is changing? I feel that too. And it's hard to put it into words. The truth is, we don't need to. We don't need to put it into words. We can hold excitement for what is coming instead of fear and pressure. Because the old world told us that we need to be afraid of uncertainty. The new world says to us, be excited for uncertainty. Because the frequency you're in creates reality you're about to experience. The frequency you're in calls reality in, attracts reality in. So when you become excited for the unknown will bring you more reasons to be excited, to be grateful, to be amazed, to be surprised. This is the truth right now. And that requires a whole new identity, right? You can't live a life as the same you were. You need to become someone else. You need to become someone who's natural in trusting life, who's natural in following what you're passionate about, what you love to do. To become someone who's a bright light in this world. To become someone who has strong boundaries and confidence in your inner truth. And is not afraid of sharing it, is not afraid of shining in your light, because you came here for it. And that requires a shift in identity, which means that old you that is saying, oh, I can't do it, oh, I don't know if it will work out, oh, I'm not sure if this will work out, oh, I worry this will never happen. Those are old stories, and those stories need to die. So put them to rest and say, thank you for bringing me to where I am right now. I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart, because I would never become who I am today if I would not have these beliefs. But now I'm ready to free myself from them. You don't need this kind of beliefs anymore. Now you need trust, and you need a vision. And vision is whatever you envision for you. And more bold it is, more big your life will be. And God hasn't placed limitation into your heart. You have placed it, and you can remove it. You can dream big for you, and you can be excited for it, and you can organize yourself into creating new routines in your life, new habits, because we are creatures of habits, which means that the old world trained us to be a certain way to survive. Now that same lifestyle will not build a life where you thrive. So you need to be the leader of your life. You need to become the one that is leading yourself. Like, you need to decide when you will wake up, how you will start your day, what will you do. You need to start giving orders to yourself. They don't need to be big at the beginning. Just start setting some intentions, like, today I will go into the gym, today I will cook healthier meal, today I will meditate, today I will talk with a stranger, today I will give something to someone, or whatever it is. And then start stretching it and see what else is possible, and see the feedback. You will be amazed what will start happening when you start, rising in this upward spiral of your frequency and evolution and mindset. You will be amazed. So yes, many of us are going through the process of ego death. Ego is the part of us that is attached to stories, beliefs, and what we have, what we've been through. Soul is the part of us that is eternal and is here on an adventure, that is following passion, that is doing what sparks life. That is passion, right? That is living a life of purpose. It's not here to jump from one thing to another. It's here to do what feels purposeful, what feels exciting, what gives us a sense of meaning and adventure. And for that we need to be in tuned. So when you live more in your soul, you live less in your ego. And those people who live in their soul, those are happy people. Those are healthy people. Those are people who thrive. And you can find them. And you can become one of them. You can become one of us. Yeah, my friend, welcome to the club. This journey is not a competition. You don't need to be perfect, and you're not left behind. You're on your own pace. But at the same time, you will see that you need to have focus, and you need to be willing to make a change, because it's a dense world sometimes, and it's very important to learn to, let go of what doesn't support us on this journey, and to set very strong walls sometimes, so the negative news don't come in at times when we are the most vulnerable. And this is, the great work, the great discipline we need to build at the beginning, and then we build a momentum and it becomes way easier. So I hope you found a great value today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Big thanks to everyone who is choosing to support my art. I'm also an artist, a painter. You will find all of my paintings on AttractPassion.com. I channel these paintings, so I see them in my mind's eye, they inspire me in my heart, and I need to paint them. So each painting has a unique story, unique energy, and it will give you what you need if you resonate with it. Also join our Patreon community for more exclusive content, guided meditations, and so much more, and YouTube membership if you would love to support this channel. Thank you so much. Until next time, one love.